Today, we're going to be talking about an amazing quality in Paul's second letter while he was going through a tremendous waiting period in his life. So stay tuned. Hey fellow soldiers, let's sharpen our swords together as we dive deep in the scriptures. Today, we're going to be looking at the book of Philemon. It is in the New Testament, and it was Paul's second letter that he wrote while he was in prison, while he was on house arrest. You know, this letter is not a letter to one of the churches. It is the only letter out of the four who was written to an individual, Philemon. Philemon was a congregant of the Church of Colossae. You know, last week we looked at the first letter was the Colossians and the letter to the Church of Colossae. And Paul had received a visit from the leader, Epaphras. And Philemon is actually a congregant of that church, Church of Colossae. So Epaphras knows him, and he is also known by another individual, Onesimus. And we're going to get to him in just a second. So this letter that Paul wrote is to Philemon. Philemon is a very wealthy man. He has a very big house. In fact, the Church of Colossae met there at his house. And he had many servants. And one of his servants, Onesimus, ran away from home. In fact, the Lord allowed for Onesimus and Paul's paths to cross, to meet. You know, Paul is spending some time with Onesimus. And there is a big change that goes on in Onesimus' life. He actually becomes a follower of Christ, and his life is changed. You know, it's not just words with Onesimus. There's actions behind those words. And that is what Paul sees in Onesimus' life. So this letter that he's writing to Philemon, here is a man who was going through a tremendous waiting period in his life, and he is thinking about his Christian brother, Philemon, so much so that he's writing a letter to him to promote unity, to promote reconciliation between him and Onesimus. You know, this letter is so much full of love. You know, there's no discord about it. There's no division. It's unity. And that's what Paul is thinking during this part of his life, during this tremendous waiting period. You know, how does Philemon get this letter? Well, you know, last week's devotional, I talked about Tychicus and how he was a messenger, and he was delivering the letter Colossians to the Church of Colossae, and he was also delivering the second letter, Philemon, to Philemon. And he has a third letter too, and we're going to get to that next week. But he also has Onesimus with him. So he's got those 3 letters. Tychicus has those 3 letters, and he has Onesimus to go to and deliver this to Philemon. This is a powerful story in which a man who was going through a very hard time in his life, and he's thinking about a Christian brother, 2 Christian brothers. He's thinking about Philemon, and he's thinking about Onesimus, and he's thinking about their reconciliation. What a tremendous testimony, and how he spent the last 2 years of his life. Let that be a reminder to us and how to handle the stresses of our life. That's my spiritual food for you to munch on the rest of the week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. I can't wait to see you next week.